Hi, Chef Randy here, and we're going to explore one of the first techniques that you'll learn in class, sauté. And I think I have a great recipe here, not an easy recipe. I would call it an intermediate recipe. It's called chicken sauté. You'll only do one portion of this in class, like I'm about to demonstrate. But at home, if the recipe is easily multiplied. By the way, I'll have a printed recipe for when you come to class, so you don't have to print it out, just come to class, okay? So chicken sauté is a great recipe, and it's a very light recipe. We're gonna serve it on a little bit of angel hair pasta, and when I serve it at home, that's exactly how I do it. I serve it a serving style called à la famille, family style, in which there's a platter of the food that's put in the middle of the table, and we serve ourselves from that. So, and it's always a beautiful presentation with a nice plate of pasta and that light sauce with the chicken breast on top, and then of course the grated Reggiano Parmigiano. Yum, yum, yum. This is a great recipe. I hope you enjoy it. The way we start off is a chicken breast. This is about 6 ounces. It's the scallop of a larger breast. That's okay, we'll take that. I trimmed off any kind of fat that was on it, and it's something that you're gonna have to do. If you notice any yellow fat around the edges, please trim that off. And then we're simply gonna season it. And we're gonna season it lightly with a little salt and a little pepper. And then you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna turn it over and I'm gonna season the other side. You know why? Because we eat both sides. He's a funny guy. I'll be here every Tuesday. Try the veal. Tip your waiters. So here we go. Nicely salt and peppered. And then what we're gonna do is that we're gonna just put it in a little bit of, dust it lightly in a little flour. Right. Keep that there. I have a pan that I'm gonna put on medium heat. Medium is the operative word, not high heat, medium heat. And I'm gonna heat it for a few seconds. And why do I do that? I think it's important that whenever you're gonna cook something, it's important that this isn't non-stick, right? So I want to really heat up the pan to open up the pores. And then when I'm gonna add fat to it, the pores will accept the fat, rendering this pan stick-free. Aha, huh? You learn something every day. So I'm gonna put a little butter. Let it wait a little bit longer. I should be right. A little butter. And because I really should be using clarified butter, and I didn't have time to do that, but a little lesson here, whenever you don't have clarified butter, just add a little oil to the butter. It doesn't have to be much. There you go. You see it's bubbling up nicely. We're gonna take our chicken breast, knock off any excess flour, and we're gonna add it to the, and I'm hearing it sizzle a little bit. It's not sticking. That's a good sign, right? So how long do you cook it? You would normally cook it, I guess, 2 or 3 minutes on each side. And even then, it may not be all the way cooked through, but that's okay, because we're going to be adding it back to the sauce to fully cook it a little bit later on. Sauté is probably one of the most difficult sections of the kitchen to master. Why? Because there's so many things that you have to know about. You know, it's not like being the fry cook, where you basically just deep frying everything right. No, you have to, it's a little bit more than that. On my sauté station at my restaurant, I owned Randolph's Restaurant for about 20 years. I was the sauté cook. And the reason why was because that's where the action was on my menu. My menu changed every week. specials menu changed every week, and my specials menu usually had 5 or 6 first courses, 4 or 5, maybe 6 main courses, 3 or 4 desserts, and my customers liked it like that. They would just show up to see what Randy was cooking every week, so that was kind of cool. But I could have anywhere between, I don't know, 12, 13, 14 items that I'd be responsible for. I'd be responsible for all the sauteed vegetable on all the specials, and they were all different medleys of vegetables. I'd be responsible for any sauteed fish. I'd be responsible for at least all the pasta dishes. I'd be responsible for anything that was pre-done, like a braise or a stew that needed to be reheated. So it was a lot of work, and I'd have 6, 8 burners going at the same time. It was a little crazy, but that's where the action was. Most owner chefs expedite. They take the orders in from the ticker, and then they control the rhythm of the kitchen. All right, making sure everybody knows what they have to do and what's coming up. I was never real good at that. My sous chef was excellent at it. So I made him do it. You know why? Because it was my restaurant. I could do what I want. I loved being on Sauté, and the night would go by in a blink. And I was doing a lot of fancy foods and whatnot. But at the end of the night, I didn't want to eat any of that fancy food. What I wanted was a ham sandwich with a glass of milk or some cereal. You're on rich food all day long. You don't want to eat that stuff. When you have finally the ability to sit down and eat, no. I want something simple. Maybe a roasted chicken. That'd be with a salad. That's the kind of things chefs eat after work. The Sauté station is a station that you need to know the most about. Okay, and it goes fast. You need to work. You need to, like I said, I could have 6 or 8 pans going at the same time. You have to know where every one of them's at, right? So it's a demanding station, but I loved it. I really did. I wouldn't want to work any other station, in my kitchen anyway, for my menu. I sometimes would let my line chefs help to decide. Not sometimes, we do it every Sunday night. We decide what we're going to cook the next week. I operated Wednesday through Sunday, so Sunday nights we would meet. So, well, what do we want to cook next week? And we would just decide, well, is it going to be a good fishing weekend? Because I was in Golden Meadow. I don't know if you've ever been to Golden Meadow. It's not the end of the world, but you can see it from there, okay? It's really rural. It's in the bayous of Golden Meadow, about 30 miles from Grand Isle. A lot of our customers were people coming to Grand Isle from, or bringing their boats to do some area fishing or going to their summer homes or whatnot. So if it wasn't a good weekend for playing in the water, then we weren't going to do well at all. So there's enough oil in there. I don't think I even have to discard any. But if you look in there, some of the flour that fell off, kind of lightly browned, and that's okay. And it's good. That's going to help give our viscosity, the viscosity we're looking for the sauce, or the thickness of the sauce. So this is a good thing. So I got to come down on this heat a little bit. So what am I going to do? I'm going to add my shallots and my garlic. All 3 cloves? Why not? I like garlic. And this is where the sauté comes in. This takes some time to get used to. Not everybody can do it right away, right? And I don't expect you to. All right. So you just want to perfume that, get it going. I'm going to add a little bit of white wine to deglaze the bottom of the pan, get all those brown bits off. Put that a little bit. I'm also going to add a few drops of lemon. Not a lot of lemon, just how much lemon? That much lemon. Well, why even add it, chef? Come on. Well, you're going to give this this dish a brightness that I'm looking for. Okay. Now this is pretty reducing pretty quick. So now I'm going to add the tomato concasse. Again, tomato concasse is seeded, skinless, skin-seeded chopped tomatoes. And again, you can saute a little bit. Yeah. So I really want all that wine to dissipate as much as possible, because I don't want it to be a winey sauce. Not a, no, I'm talking about wine with the wine. I don't want any alcohol flavor, okay? And so it's important that all that evaporate out of there, right? Then we're gonna take some chicken stock, yeah? How much? About that much. I'm gonna use more later. I'm gonna bring that to the boil. I'm gonna add the chicken breast back in, because I really want to fully cook that. Take this aside. So this is coming back to a boil. Yeah. And what I'm doing two things. I'm reducing the sauce a little bit, but I'm also finishing the chicken. The biggest mistake that students make when they make this dish is that they don't have any sauce left when it's time to plate up. If that ever happens to you, it's an easy way to remedy that. Add water. All you did is dehydrate it. All the water evaporated out, okay? All that flavor is still there. The original flavor that you put in there, it didn't go away. It's there. You just have to rehydrate it. So get some water in there, and so that you have some sauce. I want to see sauce. You know, your first cooking thing, and you'll be doing sauce. Isn't that cool? Because let me tell you the difference between hack cooks and chefs. Chefs make sauce. We think about it every day. It's one of the things we think about the most. Man, or when we go out and eat, man, did you look at that sauce? Wow, is that something? You know? And it's just something we get excited about, all right? Turn it over a little while there. So it's not a sauce class, but I want you to start knowing about sauce now, so that when you get to sauce class, you even have an idea. We're going to bring the consistency of this sauce is what we call to nappe. When we bring the sauce to nappe consistency, it coats the back of a spoon, basically. It's a little thinner than a raw egg yolk once you pop the egg yolk, okay? So that's what we like to do. And the only thickener I'm using here is the flour that was on the chicken. And a little bit later, we're going to do something else. We're going to be adding a mound of butter. We call that a monté au beurre. Most of the things that you're going to learn about, the culinary terms are French. That being said, if you want to learn a foreign language, we'll teach you all the French terms. If you want to learn a foreign language, what do you think I would recommend? Spanish. Why? Because more than likely, if you're working in any metropolitan area, half of your work people, your people in your kitchen, will be Spanish. You have to be able to communicate with them. You don't have to conjugate verbs. You don't have to write it or anything like that. You just have to be able to speak it. So try and be, try very hard if you can to be fluent in conversational Spanish. It's going to help you, I promise you. Get a little water. Yeah. Mine's not quite to the level I want. I'm just going to add a little water. No big deal. All that original stuff is in there and is good. I'm going to add a nice piece of butter to it. I'm going to add a chiffonade of basil to it. Look at that sauce. What a beautiful sauce that is. All right. Next thing I'm going to add to it is a little bit of pasta. Uh-oh, the pasta's stuck. That's okay. It'll loosen up in here, yeah? Look at that. And then I'm going to bring the plate over here so you can see. Doesn't take a long, this is angel hair pasta. Doesn't take a long time to warm it up, yeah? Hot food hot, cold food cold, people. You want your dish to be hot when you serve it, okay? Look at that. Reggiana Parmigiana. Good Lord. Hold on to it, Randy. And finally, some chives. What a pretty dish. And I'll tell you, serving that in a restaurant, I get $14.95 for that easy. Is that good? Is that a good price? Will you make money at that price? Holy cow, will you ever, huh? Come over here, and now I'm going to show you the most important part. Wow, look at that. That's a beautiful dish. Nice sauce. Not, you know, it's not a dull color. It's not. It's rather a light color. The sauce is perfect consistency. It's absolutely done. You know, you don't have to cook the hell out of chicken breast like most people do. Wow. I forgot to do something, and that's okay. I should have adjusted my seasoning on the sauce a little bit. It doesn't take much. And I should have tasted it. Always taste your food. That was a big faux pas on my part. Always taste your food. The pasta was cooked in a little salted water, but such a nice light sauce. Good Reggiano Parmesan. Why buy anything else? It's expensive, I know, but you don't need a lot, you know, and it's great. If you can't get Reggiano Parmesan a little cheaper, Grana Padano is a good hard cheese to use over pasta. That's chicken sauté, folks.